I was not expecting that this deck was going to be revealed tonight, but let's get into it. We have the next Justice Hunters deck being revealed, being the Yummy archetype, so let's take a look at it and let's see what they do. So first off on the block, we have Cupsy Yummy. It's a light beast effect, level 1, 0 attack, and 1600 defense, and you can only use special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control a Link 1 monster or a level 2 synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Yummy card from your deck to your hand, except Yummy Cupsy Yummy. Or if it was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you could draw one card instead. Being able to search out the whole entire archetype off of just on a normal or special summon is very, very good. And honestly, being able to summon it whenever there's a Link 1 or level 2 synchro on the field is potentially very great, especially for a deck like this, because they want to do synchro and link plays for their specific monsters, and even linking, or I should say synchroing up into higher levels as the duel goes on. So now afterwards, let's get to the next main deck monster, as there's 3 of them, and this one is another adorable one, being Cookie Yummy. It is a light beast effect monster, level 1 with 1000 attack and 0 defense. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control a Link monster or a level 2 synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, it loses 1000 attack, or if this card was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you could destroy that monster instead. Realistically, a very good way of interrupting your opponent on their plays by summoning them back off of your synchro monsters, but making them lose 1000 attack could also be very useful, especially during battle phase, making it where it's going to be harder to attack over some other things. And overall, I definitely think that this is a weaker one, but it's also still a good name in general. And for the final main deck monster, honestly, I really do enjoy this archetype so far of what it can do. We are going to be looking at our final Lollio Yummy. It is a light beast effect monster, level 1, 1000 attack and 0 defense. You can only use special summon with the first effect of this card's name per turn, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. It has the same effect as the other two, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle into the deck, or if this card was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you can banish this card instead. So a mini Ishizu Shuffler, or a kind of bestial monster. Honestly, this is a really good level 1 for the deck, and I can see people running 3 because of that interruptibility that the actual card has. So overall, definitely think that this is the second strongest next to the first one, and the second one being the weakest. Now afterwards, let's get into the synchro monsters of the deck, and we're going to be looking at the main cover monster, I believe is the first one, if not the next one. We have Cupsy Yummy Way. It is a light beast synchro tuner effect, level 2 with 0 attack and 2200 defense. It takes 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monster, or 1 non-tuner monster. Now this archetype has a gimmick to it, being for this card's synchro summon, you could treat one Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. All the synchro monsters state this, so I won't be repeating it afterwards. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard 1. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. Being able to add 2 from the deck to the hand on synchro summon is really good, and being able to bounce it back to dodge things like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence to summon 2 back is also really, really good. And realistically, this is a powerful card, definitely going to be a 2 or 3 of. And you can also pair this with Melfi if you really need to go into their Exceed monsters or even their level 4 Synchro monster. So after that, let's get into the next Synchro monster of the deck, and we're going to be taking a look at the wonderful Cookie Yummy Way. It's a light beast synchro tuner effect, level 2 with 0 attack, 2200 defense, 1 tuner, and one non-tuner monster. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field, change them to face-down defense position monster. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So being able to use those effects once per turn is really good, and also being able just to book a moon 2 cards on the field is really strong as a form of interruption, because you can quick synchro with the Link monster, and just being able to summon back 2 in general is very good. And I like how it says up to 2, so if one gets bestialed, the other one still comes back, so you can still get some value, and you get something somewhere along the way. And now let's get to the final synchro monster of the deck, and if you notice the naming pattern, we're going to be looking at Lollio Yummy Way. It is a light beast synchro tuner effect with 1200 attack and 1200 defense. 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard, but their effects are negated. And the second effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra effect, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So being able to get out 4 monsters easily with this, so you can go, let's synchro into this, summon 2 back, use the link and another link and the other to get out another name is really, really strong. So you have 4 total cards. I'm just wondering how the game plan is to win the game is if you're relying on other things like maybe the Ancient Fairy Dragon deck or maybe something like Sprite and Melfi. So afterwards, let's take a look at the field spells that the deck has, or actually I should say the Link 1 first. We have Yummy Snatchy. It's a light beast link effect. Link 1 that is 600 attack and it points down. 1 level 4 lower light beast monster, and you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand or deck face up on your field. Also, you cannot link summon link 3 or higher monsters for the rest of this turn. And then afterwards, for the second effect is once per chain during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Quick effect, you can pay 100 life points. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using a Yummy monster you control. So you're using this and a Yummy monster to go into your level 2 synchros, which in my opinion is really good because it allows you to interrupt what your opponent's doing during the battle phase, so you can book a moon 2 of their monsters to stall out the turn a little, as it's going to be very interesting to see how the game revolves around this card and the other effects. So afterwards, let's get into the field spells of the deck, and honestly this is going to be very interesting with Yummysment Minion. It is a field spell, and you can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. Yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each light beast monster on the field. If you control a Link 1 monster, you could target 1 level 1 Yummy monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if this card is in your graveyard, you could target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment, place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. So that is how we're going to be doing the game plan. For each Yummy monster in the graveyard, it gains 500 attack for all your light beast monsters on the field. So honestly, that is really good. So if you have 5, 6 total, that's up to 3,000 attack bonus per each light beast monster on the field. So all your Yummies would be up by 3,000 if you have a full field of them. Overall, it's a very interesting field spell, and let's take a look at the next. So the next one we're going to be looking at is definitely interesting, being Yummysment Acrockie. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a field spell, and you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, your opponent, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So interruption or just normal destruction is really good. If a face-up monsters you control leaves your field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 Yummy monster from your deck. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment, place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. So realistically, this is a weaker one, but it's still pretty good because I think you want the first one during your turn and this one during your opponent's turn. So I could definitely see some interesting plays here and there that players can do with this deck. And finally, for now, we're going to be looking at the trap card of the deck, being Yummy Redemption. It's a continuous trap, and you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each light beast monster you control and in your graveyard. Once per chain, if you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, you could draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, so that fixes your hand. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Yummy monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls, switch control of both. Overall, this is actually a very interesting theme, as I cannot wait to see what players do with it either being pair it with Melfi, pair it with something like Sprite, or even pairing it with probably an archetype like the new Ancient Fairy Dragon stuff from Alliance Insight to cross-promote them. But overall, I definitely think that this is going to be an interesting deck going into something like the Alliance Insight format, or even into the Duelist Advanced format. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.